What happened to? Oh, there he is. Where's the cute music that I was listening to before this thing got going?
Oh, what? Yaz? Not on.
Is that what? No, not that. The background that goes with when we're waiting to go live. Do you hear that? You know, that do 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 do.
Yeah, that was on.
I know. I wish it kept going. It was.
Oh.
It was hypnoptizing. Excuse me.
Dude, your camera doesn't look good tonight for some reason. It doesn't look as clear as it usually does. You know, I'm that stuff.
Maybe I got a fingerprint on it. On high def.
A smudge.
Yeah, I could. Hold on. See what we can do about that. I don't want you to have your undies in a bunch.
I'm
Any better?
No.
Good.
It's interesting seeing your shirt, though. Don't be a chooch.
Don't be a chooch. Yeah, don't be a chooch.
So what's up, man?
Wow. A lot is going on. What do we got? So before we get going, we're gonna talk a little bit about the trash fee again.
Yeah.
We got Kurt Millar in the green room. Gonna be talking about the Board of Health meeting and the chicken coops.
Yeah, okay.
I actually was supposed to call Vasily because he wants to come on.
Who's that?
He has the chicken coop in question. He's the chicken coopee. So if by any chance he's watching, you know what? If any chance he's watching, pick up the phone or I'll get you a link. Let us know. Love you to ad hoc would be beautiful. But the trash fee, I just want a couple of things. So the town met again. The town manager gave an update. And hold on. Maybe this light will help me look better. So we're in a 5-year contract with Capital Waste right now, about halfway into it. We've been working, according to the town manager, we've been working on all of this planning for a while to include now a bag, like a buy your bags. So you get you got your barrel. Now you have to buy bags. Starting, I think, in July, they're shooting for July. You're going to have to buy trash bags. They won't take the trash if it's not in the bags, and the bags have to be in a barrel. And I believe it has to be in the barrel, or if you have 2 barrels, it has to be the barrel that has the handles that the truck can pick up, right? That type of barrel. So now we still have the 160. And then if it is to a degree, it's fair. It addresses the problem of folks who make more trash than others, right? A flat fee to everybody isn't really fair because, if you live alone or if it's just 2 of you versus 6 of you in a house, right? Your trash volume's different. But yeah,
I'd say, I don't know. I have a little disagreement with that.
Okay. Probably not, but go ahead.
No, I do. I mean, so because I make more trash, it's my right. It's my right to make as much trash as I want. It's my house, my life, my dwelling, my lifestyle, right? So I make more trash. That's just what I do, And this is just the way I look at it. I don't think people should be punished because they make more trash. I just don't. I mean, where's the line? Where's the line?
Well, if you're gonna put that's a good question. But if you're gonna put a fee in place, it immediately becomes unfair if I'm paying 160 and my neighbor has 18 people living in his house and he's paying the same amount.
But that's his right.
Well, I don't actually like it either way, because even like, think of it this way. Well, then if everybody thinks that way, well, that's why we have outrageous trash fees. That's part of the problem. I mean, look, so are you okay with an override then to increase the budget?
I don't know. I mean,
because we got to pay for it.
So what, we're paying by the tonnage?
Oh yeah. We pay by the ton. So
Capital Waste decides to raise their prices, so our prices have to get raised. That's one cost, right?
That happened.
So I don't know. I think trash. You pay your taxes. You pay your taxes.
Well, that's fine. I mean, I think everybody, look, leave it in your taxes at your commodity taxes, but we still need more money. We still need to increase the budget line. And
so we squeeze the citizens. We squeeze them, just like advertisers. They started advertising in movie theaters about 15 years ago, right? You never saw that growing because they want to squeeze in every goddamn place they can to get an advertisement in there. You know, this is what it's like now. The town is going to squeeze every little inch of you. They're going to find every little nook and cranny to charge you. That's what it's just going to continue. It's going to continue. What's next? They're going to charge you to mow your lawn. You know,
probably.
But think about it. Like I said, where's the line?
Well, we do get charged. We probably will. They talked about charging to go to the compost, which effectively would be charging you to mow your lawn.
See,
so you can, right? So now, the idea is going to be, people will say, "Well, compost your own grass." Okay, that's not a bad idea. But what restrictions are you going to put on me? Are we going to have set? Right. We have to be 10 feet off the fence. How big of a cubic yardage are we allowed?
Yeah.
How much? Because composting requires work. It requires water. It requires turning it. It requires work, and it requires area. So I don't know.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's not a hill I'm going to die on, but I think it's BS. I think it's,
we do have to take a look.
Hold on.
Oh boy, this might be Wendy.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Rob DeMarco, you're on Winter Votes.
Oh my God, it's Robbie DeMarco.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you, buddy. Now we can't. Did he just crank call us?
Oh, he hung up.
Did Rob just crank call us? He said, "Can you hear me?" and then hung up.
Why don't we bring Kurt in, because he's probably going to have questions that, if
I want you to finish your point. We got plenty of time. It's a live stream. This is going to be a long show.
I'm done. My point simply was, we have to look at the budget because, look, I also think there's plenty of money to be saved on healthcare alone. Our town employees, they're going to hate me for saying it, and I'm sorry, but they only pay 15% of their premiums. Everybody else is getting squeezed. You should join the party. We're all in this together. Takes a village. And I know I'm being a wise guy, but come on. What's fair is fair.
Hold on 1 second. I'm going to call Rob back.
Calling him back?
I'm calling him back.
That's skill.
Watch.
Can you hear me now?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, good. Call me back. Just hung up on him.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I can't do that to him. He's confused now. There he is.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, now it's not going to come through. See, I messed around. Now he's not going to come through on the. Hold on, Ro. Hold on.
Oh, this is turning into a cluster.
See,
F.
I messed around. I shouldn't have messed around. I messed around.
Tried to get fancy.
Oh
yeah, Kurt has
Rob, let me call you back.
Did you see Kurt's note?
I'll call you right back, Rob.
Oh, you're not paying attention. This is a clown show right now. Did you see Kurt's note?
Let's bring on Kurt.
Yeah. The state is also right. Oh, what is this? What is going? Oh my God!
This is
too many buttons.
Wow.
What is going on? Oh Lord.
So
what's up,
Rob,
Kurt?
Is Rob home?
What's happening?
Not much, man.
I think he's on vacation.
Because the
I think
phone's
so.
gonna suck anyway. Oops, pardon my language.
No, it won't actually. Let me. I'm going to turn it off and turn.
No,
it
it
back on
sucks
again.
because we can't really hear him.
I just have
and
to turn up the volume, maybe.
It delays and stuff. You know what I mean?
Does it?
Yeah, yeah.
Right. You're the one that had the mic problem last week. Now you have camera problems this week. So
No, I'm not having camera problems. I see perfectly fine. Anyway.
Now we have a dog in the background.
That's my dog. Someone must be at the door or something.
This is a great
Sorry
show
about that.
already, isn't it?
So, he's in Waxhaw. He's in Waxhaw.
Yeah,
So
he sounds like-
what's up, Kurt? What do we got, buddy?
So I just want to touch on the trash stuff. I know some information on that too. So I put up there, the state is also regulating what goes into the trash and recycling. So textiles have to be separated now too.
I think we had talked about that a little while back, and your sister had kind of commented in about that. Isn't there a drop off for those things now?
Yep. So it's not really the town who's doing this. We have to follow what the state's telling us to do. And what happens also is the breakdown is that like Capital has their regular just coming into the town fee, and then we pay the tonnage separately. So yeah, Scott, you can do your 30, 40, 60 pounds of trash that you toss out, and I'm throwing out 5, but I'll be paying the same rate as you. So I kind of get it. I create trash, so let me throw it out. That's what I pay my tax.
But I don't think people go out of their way to like, I'm going to make more trash than you. Like, I don't think they really.
No.
It's just a lifestyle that they live. It's not.
Yeah, I mean, we're in a throwaway culture. We really are.
Yeah.
I mean, when you go and buy stuff, it's not really to keep forever.
Right. It doesn't have.
And I think that's what the change is trying to be made is that, you know what, get stuff that is renewable. I mean, the industry I'm in for my full-time job, we're all about renewables.
There we go.
And sustainability. So I do get where it's coming from, and we have nowhere to send it. China's not taking it.
Hello?
There's a couple of problems, though,
Yeah.
with this. There is no climate crisis.
You're on the air. Hold on.
That's a fallacy. There is reason to stop using fossil fuels at the rate we're using them. Certainly because there's only a finite amount, so we do want it to last as long as it can. But also from a pollution perspective. But I'm sorry, I have seen too many. If you read the IPCC's report, they even say in the next 100 years, the temperature might go up another 1.5 degrees. That's in 100 years. We have plenty of. First of all, the crisis is non-existent right there. And by the way, there are many scientists who got shunned. Right, you have this thing called consensus, right? Where there's consensus on the data. Okay. But what no one's talking about is the fact that there's no such thing as consensus in science. There's not. The only thing that's for sure is scientific law, like gravity, right? It has to do the exact same thing every single time. Climate change doesn't do that, or whatever. Climate science, it's varied. Greenhouse effect only happens in the tropics. Ice caps shift where they. Sometimes the North Pole has more than the South Pole. The cloud covers all. There's too many variations to really. And so the way they study this, and many of the scientists that were shunned for even asking questions because they didn't go along to get along, were saying the numbers you're using for carbon emissions are way out of whack. So there's no crisis, and that's what we should be operating from, clearing up that lie that the politicians are using to advance their careers.
Oh, you live in a Democratic state, so that's not going to happen.
I know.
So the
What's
only
up,
other thing
Rob?
I'll say is
Hold on,
that we are. Where can we dump this stuff?
That is a problem. That's a problem.
Yeah. Hold on one second. Rob, are you there?
I am.
Okay. So what's up? You called, then you hung up, then I hung up, then you hung up, then I hung up.
Yeah. We went back and forth. I'm frustrated. I agree with a lot of the stuff that Kurt said. But I'm frustrated because just going back, it seemed like, in the 90s and the early 2000s, we had a Proposition 2.5 every single election cycle. It's like they wouldn't quit until they got to a point where they could break down the Proposition 2.5 to 10 separate votes. So they kept putting that on until it would pass. And the first one on there was, will you take a Proposition 2.5 for the trash? And we did that. Okay. When I was a kid, I used to get paid $5 to take out my grandparents' trash, and I would get paid $5 to take out my family's trash. It was like 6 green bags of trash that were thrown outside. I would take them to the curb, and that was my job every Thursday. It was great. I got $10, went to Nick's or 4C's and got a sub. You know what I mean? It was awesome. So
The good old days.
Yeah.
the good old days, yeah. And now all of a sudden they want a trash fee, and for some reason our taxes don't cover that. I'm trying to wrap my mind around this, okay? And I don't get it. I agree that, if you're a single person, you should not be paying the same as a family of 6. You know what I mean? That doesn't make sense to me. My family, we have 1 barrel and 1 recycling barrel. We never use more than that, except on Christmas when we give gifts to our kids and stuff like that.
Right.
I don't like where this is going. I really don't. I don't think I'm going to vote for it, to be honest with you.
Wow.
You might be the only
never,
one.
You never commit to these things, Rob. So I'll give you credit, buddy.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to vote for it, and it's just my way of saying, you know what, enough is enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's an immoral move because it circumvents, as legal as it is. And Jeff yells at me all the time. It's legal. It can be done. What are you going to do? I'm like, I'm not doing anything, but it's immoral. It's disgusting because it's a backwards tax.
Yeah, I'll probably be the only one who votes against. I might be the only one who votes against it, but I'm not voting for it. I can't. It's just enough is enough. I mean, we always just took out our trash and it was picked up and it was paid for by our taxes. Then we had a 2.5 and our taxes went up. And now it's like, okay, now you need to pay a trash fee. No, like, come on. Inflation's out of control. Okay. Everything is up. I mean, the price of eggs is ridiculous if you went to the supermarket.
You can't have chickens.
Okay. Yeah, there's a chicken ordinance now. Like
we're gonna be talking about that, buddy. We're gonna be talking
everything
about that.
everything is going sky high, and it's like enough is enough. I'm not gonna vote to raise the cost on our residents at this point. Can't do it.
Yeah, there you go, buddy.
Attaboy.
I agree with you.
Attaboy.
Absolutely.
So, all right. Are we done with trash or we want to keep talking trash?
Oh,
Well, we want to talk about the Alice Cooper album, Trash, which was one of the best albums of the 80s. All right, I'm in.
Wow. I didn't even know there was such an album. So
good pluck, Rob.
Hey, Scott, he deserves an invite to some other thing.
To my Milk Crates and Turntables podcast.
I didn't want to cross it over.
Rob. I was going to say, you sure this isn't Wednesday night right now? What are we talking about?
All right, we're not talking about turnies.
All right. Hey, Rob, do you want to stay on with us?
Sure, if you want me on.
Yeah, if you can hang in. Kurt,
Okay.
Do we want to just send them a link? Make it better? See his pretty face?
Is he in a position to use his camera? Or
I am.
I got you.
Right. You got him?
I got him. All right.
So
I'll hang up then.
All right,
yeah,
we'll see you
then
soon.
Todd will send you the link. All right, buddy.
Okay, bye.
All right, go ahead.
Full
I'm
show
sorry.
tonight. So,
Kurt,
we're going to hand this over to you. I think we're getting into the
video,
the video, the Board of Health meeting, Bill the Shill Schmidt once strikes again.
Yeah.
Okay. So you want to give us a little preface to this?
Before you do, Kurt, what minute? Where do I want to start the video? What'd you say? 1:30?
I think it's 1:23. I think I said.
All right, go ahead. Sorry.
So what are we going to be watching?
It's the Board of Health meeting. I can't remember the exact date on it, but it's where they voted in the new keeping of animals regulation, and it just, I think you'll find the tone of the meeting really seems demeaning to anybody who doesn't support what Bill says or does. And he also here that he kind of says it pretty clearly that he feels his word is final say in these types of things when it really isn't. So the main reason why I'm digging into this is because the whole chicken thing, which is part of the keeping of animals. So we've always had a regulation for that.
For chickens.
All animals. It's
All animals,
incorporated
okay.
in one keeping of animals. It's all in one regulation. And it breaks down into sub-levels of what types of animals. I was focused on the chickens because, there's people who have them in town. There's people who got their permits in town, did the right thing. There's others who haven't. But the thing that started to get me was hearing that the changes that he was doing was based on the CDC, a college, university's report, and then the NIH reporting. And all it is, the way I see it is it's almost like fear mongering of the sickness of chickens, not the benefits of chickens. So what ended up happening with this is they actually changed the regulation to be harder to get chickens, where it's before you could just go in, you apply for the permit, you would draw a little plot plan of your land and where it was going to be at. Now you have to get a legitimate plot plan. You have to have the animal control officer, I believe, come in, inspect the property, verify everything's okay. Depending on what type of coop you get, if it's a prefab one that you buy online, you can just put it up. They'll just look at it and say, hey, if you build one yourself, the building inspector has to come and inspect it. And I mean, it is really complicated. A lot of towns have some of that in it also.
Kurt, would you say, sorry,
making it hard? Sorry.
I'm sorry, Kurt. I don't mean to cut you off, but I wanted to, before that segment passes, would you say it's more restrictive now than it was before? And would you say it's more restrictive than Somerville? Uh-oh, he cut out. He's frozen. Oh, wait.
It is. It is definitely more restrictive now.
And more restrictive than Somerville? Is it more restrictive than Somerville?
In some aspects, it is. You have to break it down kind of. You can't go word for word because Somerville is actually pushing for more urban farming type things.
Right.
Being a little bit more lax, especially when it comes to chickens and bees. But for us, we used to have setbacks in the backyard, which was 5 feet rear and side. Somerville, I believe, is now 5 and 3 or 5 and 2 rear and side. Revere, same thing. They went down. They're starting to jump on the urban farm bandwagon too.
Now, when you say 5 and 2, and what do those numbers mean? What do they represent?
Setback from property line in the backyard.
5 feet or
5 feet. 5 feet from the rear, 5 feet from the side in your backyard of your property line.
Okay.
And correct me.
We went to 10 feet.
No side yard now. No side yard in Winthrop any longer.
No.
Yeah.
Why don't we run the video, Kurt, and when you want me to stop and you want to comment, I'll stop it. Does that sound reasonable? That way we can get this started.
Yes.
I want to get to your points about the demeanor of this video. I would agree with him that, listen, as a sales guy, you're paid to listen to people if you're a good sales guy, and Rob can speak to this, right? You have to hear what people are saying. You really have to actively listen. There's a thing called listening to understand, and then there's something called listening to respond. The person who listens to respond tends to talk over the talker. All right, here we go. Oh, Bob,
I got it.
To turn it on, then I can press play. All right, I don't know how loud this is going to be, so let's make sure we.
I got the volume up on this.
Okay. What do my colleagues want to speak?
Well, again, Vesely, you're very persuasive, a lot of proof, etc. But again, we're not looking to make sure you don't have chickens. We want to make sure that the guy who doesn't care about cleaning, doesn't care about how many chickens, how well they're housed, that those are the people that we're concerned about. Because we
All right,
can't
can we
say
stop there for a second?
silly.
So,
Can you see the video?
hear what she just said, right?
We can't see
We're
the video. So
concerned
who
about-
was talking just then?
That was what's her name? Not Meredith. Meredith,
Get the
right?
right person.
No.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
you get
Meredith.
those.
I'm gonna try a
Dalton.
new screen share. Go ahead. That was Marianne Dalton.
Marion Dalton.
So if you listen to what she just said, think if they did a regulation on dogs the same way. Let's make it hard and complex for you to get a permit and punish you first because you might not be a good animal handler. Now, what if we said that with dogs? Oh, you can't get your license for your dog because we don't know if you're going to be a good dog, good person to your dog.
A good owner.
Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
No.
Well,
So
It
basically,
sounds
she's
like-
saying let's punish everybody
right.
first.
Yeah, it sounds like she doesn't trust the people.
So is she against this?
She voted for the new regulation to go in place.
Okay. So all right, I'm gonna turn this
It
on.
was
again
it was
and
unanimous.
see if we can get the video. All right, Todd.
All right, hold on, because I'm trying to. Yeah, I don't know. Listen, it's not easy for me to share screen over here. I tried these options, and hold on.
All right.
Extra camera, add an additional camera to the stream, share a video file from your computer. I just tried to do that and it didn't upload it, or it's trying to upload it now. Let's do it this way. Hold on, guys. Share screen. I'm going to try this again. It's not showing the. Oh, that's the ticket. Right. Yeah, there we go. I got you now. Can you see it now? How's that?
Yes, here we go. Let me get rid of this top one. Hold on.
Wow,
All right.
this circus just continues, doesn't it?
It's just one of those shows. Every once in a while, these pop up. You know, kind of
All
like
right,
Rob
ready?
tonight. Just popped up. Hey. All right, here we go. I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to play the video. Are you at your spot you want to be at?
Yep.
All right.
Rules. And then these are the rules for everybody else.
I respect that. But that's why you have an inspector to go by that place. They can inspect it, but it still has no basis for location. If I maintain my property and I maintain my area, the inspector can see that and sign off, regardless of what part of the property it is.
I would think that anybody could say, but it says this in the regulations. So why do I have to do this? You know, I mean, you're like the standard that we're going by, you know, and
And I appreciate that.
but there are those that will not be as concerned about the chickens and
So then let the complaints from abutters have the inspector come over and then they can make the call on it. We're putting in,
We don't have
looking to put in.
We don't have the man.
Okay, so I'm jumping on this right now. Talking over. There's there's a point I just made. He just lived it. Talking over. Probably because he's getting a little impatient. But now he's going to turn the fact that they don't have inspectional services or enough bandwidth. By the way, they get no complaints. I mean, how many complaints did they get? And
He got like
anyway,
one or
moving
two,
on.
and it wasn't even from people
Yeah.
who lived around him.
I mean, and don't tell me this guy
Oh,
doesn't
and
have
that's
time to
Vasily,
go
by
do
the
the
way,
inspection himself.
Scott.
Yeah, that's Vasily Malios.
Power to do that.
Okay.
That's part of the issue. For instance, just in case of your case, if our inspectional services did the appropriate process, you wouldn't have gotten a permit.
Correct. And that's why,
And now he's not chastised. That's not fair. Now he's pointing out that Vasily wouldn't have gotten his permit if the appropriate process was done in the first place. Well, you don't go back and punish. Too late. He's grandfathered in. You would think, anyway.
Or they just give them a chance to get up to standard. They say, okay,
Well, he's
you're here,
changing
you got it.
He's changing the standards on him. He
Oh,
should be
okay.
able to comply with the old standards. Everything it should be going forward. But I guess with health, there is some logic to looking backwards if it's causing a health condition or health problem, but it doesn't. Anyway, sorry.
How many health conditions have been appropriated to chickens in Winthrop? Does anybody know of one?
We'll talk about that after because I got the list on that.
Nice. All right, here we go.
Inspectors to monitor and manage what's existing is doomed to failure. Because our inspection services, like every other department, shorthanded. They're going to be more concerned about what's happening at 76 Sunnyside, which are where people are inhabiting in a building that is uninhabitable. They're not going to ever going around and looking to see who's got chickens and beehives is going to be way down on the list.
So then it's okay.
So it's incumbent upon us to try to develop regulations. And as I said, if we wanted to, again, we could say no, which other communities that do have this. No chickens in front or side yards that are borders, or period, or only restricted to backyards, or not allow it on side streets. That would reduce a lot of other people to have the opportunity of chickens. I said to you before, we're not trying to say that you can have chickens, because obviously you can move the chickens to the side. So it's not impossible for you to have chickens on your yard if there's a restriction away from front yard. So, but it's not just about you. It's about how do we manage the situation in the whole town.
So wouldn't you think that it would actually be better for people to see people's setup? That way, I have a greater chance of receiving a complaint every single day than hiding them behind a 6-foot fence in my backyard. I have more of a reason to keep my property well maintained because I know I can now have people walking by, driving by, and saying, oh, he's not maintaining that. I'm calling.
He's right.
He's absolutely
and you know
right.
what else? He's got over 300 signatures of support. 300 signatures. How many people? How many people you need to get elected? I mean, to get on the ballot to run for a seat.
At large, 150.
Yeah,
He thinks 50.
yeah.
He's there. He should be running on council.
He could run for 2.
Well, this might make him. This might
One
make
for
him.
him, one for the chickens.
We got to get him in the mix now too. Vasily,
This
if you're
might
watching,
motivate him.
we're recruiting you. School committee.
Backyard and hide it? How do you know anyone's taking care of it? How does anyone know that there is a chicken coop there? Right?
Well, you're supposed to
It's
have a
more, but
I know,
regardless of
well,
that, there's so many people. So
But what I'm saying-
in my mind, I'm doing you guys a favor
That's
by putting it in a security area that no one can get
It's
to.
not just about you though, but that might not be in every case. Again,
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It's individual case. It's case by case.
You're doing them a favor anyway. He's like, I don't
But-
need inspection services. I'm on the main road. I'm going to get caught if I do something wrong.
What-
This is great.
What Bill the Shill is saying is basically everybody has to be like standard. Everybody, like in the military, if you were 5'10", you couldn't weigh more than 187 pounds. That's impossible.
Do we
they
think
even
there's a
changed that
plot-
standard. It's a case by case basis.
Do we think there's
So
a plot planned in Winthrop that is exactly the same as another one?
Exactly.
I don't think so.
No. But there's one thing that's added into this is that if you do go by the regulations, I'm not trying to side with Bill here. If you did actually go by the regulation that is currently in place, not being changed as of April 1st, there are regulations in place that say that you're not supposed to have it on the side, it's supposed to be in the back, but they gave him a variance.
Well, there you
Yeah,
go.
he should be able to keep it because he went through the process. It's not his fault that the town gave him what they gave him before. He shouldn't be punished for it. I'm sick by that.
But that's why inspection services would go and
Oops, sorry.
we don't have inspection services to do that. Silly. We don't
why is
have.
this even being brought up as an ordinance regulation?
We don't have. We're trying to put things in place so that at the beginning of the process, which is when people are supposed to get a permit, that we have a way of regulating that would make sense.
If they make it more restrictive, which they
So-
just did, they just made it harder, people are just going to do it without getting a permit. I mean, that's what's going to happen.
And he didn't even know who was signing the permits.
Who did?
I know I mentioned it, but Bill. I
Oh, he
think
didn't?
later on in the video, you'll know he didn't even know that Sharon down at she is the clerk for the health inspector
Jesus.
and for the health department. She's the clerk. She's the one that signed the permits. I mean, and that's how it was.
It's
How do
not-
you not know who the clerk is for this type of stuff?
Yeah, and you're
Depending
the
on inspection service to go out and see what actually is going on. If you can, you read the current ordinance, there should have been a plot plan. It talks about notifying abutters. There's a lot of things that should have been done to comply with the existing ordinance, and there's a good chance you wouldn't have the chickens where you have them right now. So again, but we basically said, and I think you should say to us to some degree, we were nice to you by saying, hey, you don't have to take these out. We'll give you a variance until we have the regulations. And we informed you at that point that we were going
And
to.
you got a nice thank you email from me when you did provide the temporary variance.
Yeah, but we said to you right at the beginning, you're probably going to have to move those because we're going to be putting.
And I have every right to fight it.
No, there's no question about that. Nobody's arguing that. I love people to be passionate about what they believe. That's what democracy is all about. But also at some point, we're going to make a decision what we think is in the best interest of the community based on health reasons, what our enforcement power is. You know, we have situations in this town where we have speed limits on roads. Now, we don't have a big police force, so you can't always have people at all those things to monitor who goes through red lights, who takes an illegal turn, all those kind of things. You put in place regulations that you think are going to help most of the people.
Oh my gosh.
Comply.
No.
Oh.
About a public safety issue, not.
say that
doesn't
again,
even-
Rob.
They're not even comparable, that argument.
You got cut off at the
He's
beginning,
talking
Rob.
about a public safety issue versus owning chicken.
Yeah.
Well, what I was saying is talking about speeding and comparing it to which is a public
To
safety issue
chickens.
versus chickens.
Chickens.
I can't even believe we're here talking about chickens.
Are you surprised
you?
who's saying it though? You surprised? I know you can't say anything, Rob. But
Is this like a full blown example of self importance taken far too seriously? Maybe. I mean, I don't know. Is it because there's no evidence that I've seen, and I'm not looking for it, so I'll be fair to everybody. But I'm not aware of any evidence where this has ever been a problem of any magnitude.
It has.
No, and there's plenty of people in town who have chickens without.
So
a
how
permit.
many people? Okay, so how many people do you think? How many houses do you think have chickens without a permit?
I'm not
My
gonna
neighbor across the
even-
street,
Yes.
probably.
Okay,
well,
so
good for
there's
you,
only
Rob.
3
You just
permits.
dimed him out.
There's only 3
I didn't say
permits
which
right now.
one.
there's only 3 right now that have permits. I mean,
3 that have
Okay.
permits, I believe. That's it.
but we do know. I mean, we could find people in Winthrop that know other people in Winthrop that have chicken coops without permits. Would that be a fair statement? Because I don't want to speak.
I believe so.
I mean, at the end of the
And
day,
they
it's
probably
like-
wouldn't know they need permits. They probably wouldn't even know.
Good point.
They'd be like, oh, I'm getting some chickens. Kurt, let me ask you something. So the new ordinance that they're proposing or that's going into effect says 6 chickens per household. Is that correct?
Yes, and it used to be 12.
Right. What is the current ordinance in the city of Boston?
Want to say they also changed the 6, but it's also they're a lot more dense, and they're
Right. No,
allowing
that's what I'm saying.
a little bit more
It's more than 6. from what I
flexibility on the
understand.
property to be able to have it.
So
And
in
there's
other
actually
words,
some towns that say there's 6, a max of 6, but you can also get an additional amount of chickens to replace those chickens that might be towards the end of their life.
so if you live in a triple decker on Bennington Street, you have more freedom with chickens than if you live down the point in Winthrop where you have much more room.
I believe so.
That's,
way it's read,
that's
I
a good way to
understand
put
it.
it, man. It's a good way to put it. Yep.
Hey, how often does a chicken lay an egg? One a day?
It depends whether
Average? You got an
there's
average?
a fair amount that I'd say one a day on a nice healthy day or something like that. Yeah, you
So
got
if you
6
had
chickens,
12,
you get 6 eggs.
if you had 12 chickens, would you be comfortable saying that you would get at least 6 eggs a day?
I would think you get more than 6, but yeah.
All right. So conservatively speaking, at 6 eggs a day times 30 days in a month, you get 180 eggs. What Vasily should be doing is saying, I want to be paid for 360 eggs that you, or however many chickens he lost eggs, because he was saving trips to the store. If you know what I mean, like urban farming does so many different things for the communities.
Are they making him get rid of chickens, by the way?
Reducing it.
As
He had
far
12,
as
didn't he?
I know, the new regulation will go in as of April 1st, and there is no grandfathering in. I think that's in this video.
So if he has more than 6 chickens, he has to get rid of chickens.
So in other words, if you
so.
have more than 6 chickens, you have to apparently slaughter the other 4 that you have. I mean,
Chicken
that's
soup.
dinner, apparently. I don't know.
Soup. All right, here we go.
And that you hope there are a few
So
outliers.
it gets worse in the video too, I think.
Okay.
Wide open Wild West situation, we have not very easy regulations, then you're in trouble.
And so I can give you this website. So there are some diseases, and four
Jesus.
diseases in particular: the avian bird flu, E. coli, the plasmosis, and the campylobacter.
Yeah, I know.
So Scott, that's Wonder
those
Woman.
4, your birds are asymptomatic when they're carrying that.
Correct.
So you wouldn't know that either,
Correct.
right? And so when we talk about attractive nuisance, all those people that signed that book you have that said it was so beautiful and great, that's the attractive nuisance. Because now
Stop the video, Todd. Stop the video.
those people at the age of 5 or over 65 are
This is a case. This is a flat out case of I don't like chickens. I don't think anyone should have any chickens. Chickens are stupid. So I'm going to come up with any stupid idea that I can. Like, your birds can get all these diseases. So, those people that signed your nice little book there, well, they're all at risk. This is basically what she just said. She's coming up with all these diseases like this guy doesn't know this. She's like, she's basically saying you could have an avian flu breakout in Winthrop.
I think that comes up in the meeting.
She is absolutely out of her mind here. Like she is looking for a reason not to do this. Well, Wonder Woman just turned into the Penguin. She just turned into the Penguin.
What are you doing?
Well,
That's your friend.
She just came down to a lot in my book because that is absolutely ridiculous. That is absolutely. You can come up with excuses
Scott, you ready for
anything. What?
Here we go. Guess how many human cases of avian flu there was last year?
None.
1.
Okay, I was close.
In all of North America. All North America. Only 1.
Yeah, and she's
now think about this. How
fear-mongering.
about salmonella? So
one.
with salmonella, there was 1.35 million infections, 26, almost 2,700,000 hospitalizations, and 420 deaths. Okay, from salmonella, not from chickens.
Not from chickens, right?
From chickens, there was 1,230 confirmed, and 0 deaths in Massachusetts.
They're preventing a problem. Please, people.
She doesn't want chickens in Winthrop. I think she thinks Winthrop is above that. That's my opinion.
And when they're referencing the CDC for their information, what they did their research on, this information I pulled from the CDC. Our food that we eat, you are more likely to get salmonella from than chickens.
And who was that? Who was that was saying that? What's her name?
Jeannie. That's Jeannie.
Jeannie
Hogerson.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, Jeannie, it sounds like you're an anti-chickite.
Anti-chickite.
An anti-chicken. Right. She doesn't want chickens.
So she's the one who actually reviewed the urban health regulations needed in backyard chicken coops from the Federal Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
Because they're reliable.
So she read the CDC. So she should have seen a bunch of this other stuff that's, you get salmonella and listeria from the food we're eating.
She's picking and choosing.
More frequently than any other animal.
She's
Don't-
picking and choosing. She's a
Don't
chicken
chickens-
snob.
Chickens also remove food waste, do they not? They like to eat. You feed 'em
Absolutely.
table scraps and stuff, so you're reducing waste.
You trash.
Look at that. Less tonnage in your trash.
I mean, if every house had 6 chickens, how much tonnage would we reduce?
She's a chicken snob.
A fair
She's a
amount.
chicken. She's a chicken snob.
Now you also touched
Come
on,
on, Jeannie. Help us out.
compost.
Compost.
What's that? Yeah, I did. Yep.
You touched on compost. You want to compost. Chicken waste is phenomenal for your gardens.
Let's be clear. I don't want to compost anything, but I get your point.
But it is, if you want healthy flowers, you want to grow vegetables, anything like that,
Composting's great.
that's what
for
you
all
do.
that.
You want to live off the
And
land.
if you have the chickens, yeah, like there's a lot of people doing black earth in town right now. You get like a bag of compost back, you throw it in your garden.
Yeah.
So you got your own fertilizing of your garden right in your backyard. It's like a whole sustainable type thing
Yeah.
at your house.
Not if the Board of Health has anything to say about it.
All right. So let's get on Jeannie Hoaxton throwing out the fear mongering.
Also realize that book was to prove a point.
I know,
to
but
the
the
Board of Health.
point
That
proved
book
the
is not,
other as
that
well,
book,
though.
that book is not out there every day.
But
was
it
out
also
there for-
proved
More
the
talk, more
attractive nuisance
crosstalk,
it is,
no
'cause those
listening.
Come up and they do sign it, so,
I got
right?
it. But I'll go back to my point.
Right.
What is the Board of Health doing about Canadian geese on
Yeah, but
public property at unsecured? Because they also give off those 4 elements of disease.
You know we can't monitor wild animals.
But so
But here's-
it's a better, but it's a better situation where it's secured.
Yeah, but
You have school children down at the Fort Bank School that utilize that field where Canadian geese migrate to. You have children down in Coughlin Park.
But
that
they're not
utilize-
all gathered in the same areas.
Doesn't matter. It's no different than what I have.
Yeah,
If I
no,
have
but here's
children on my property.
The difference
No.
is you've asked for a permit, which we can either allow you to have or not. And we have no control over that. So we have control over certain things that happen. We don't have control over other things. We can't control nature. But we can control what man does
What?
within reason.
What?
Um,
What is he talking about?
Now, if the conditions there, I don't know what the school department does in terms of, cleaning up any of that mess or anything. I don't know that. That's not my department. You'd have to ask the superintendent.
But it is your department because there was an increase of avian flu this
Oh.
past summer.
Well,
So it is a part of the
Yeah, but we
public
can,
health.
we can say to the school, it's a problem, you need to clean it up, because we don't have the manpower to do it. We don't have the
Manpower again.
As a couple of people. Al McGee has a couple of people, they're doing all kinds of inspections. So, again, you have to try to manage, government is about managing what you can do in terms of what you think is reasonable. You're gonna disagree because you like the situation that you currently have. I understand that. I respect it. I respect I love your advocacy. You know that. We've had a lot of discussions on a lot of issues. But I think you also should give me some respect in saying, you know me, that I would be I'm making a decision what I think is in the best interest of the community. You know,
Kurt, do you want to comment on that?
This is where the arrogance, I think, comes in for me. That
I'm making the best decision. I thought it was a committee, right?
yeah.
I mean, that's just a slip.
I mean, in the end, the committee makes a decision, the 3 of them, without input. Again, they've only read the documents from the CDC, was it Boston College, I think it was, and then the NIH, National Institutes of Health.
And none of the
one-
people on the board are experts in this either. They're not. So they should have
No,
other people.
it's one thing. You're a nurse, you know sicknesses and how to treat them and this and that. But there's not one person they brought in from the field
That's right.
who what is it? UMass Amherst has the 4-H for kids for learning how to farm chickens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they go and talk to them? No,
No, because they
just
don't have
chose to
enough
do
people. They don't have
and my
enough
point is
people.
the fear mongering.
And it's what it is. They're
Guys, quick
chicken
question.
snobs. It's like they don't want this to happen.
Quick question for you. Do you want to get the guy that's on this video on our show right now?
Sure.
All right, keep talking.
Okay. A chicken lives matter. What I have to say.
Yeah.
Chickens
So
lives
it is
matter.
interesting to me. The the thing for me here is that you're going to see even further in the video where he does come out and basically says it's the end all be all. This is what our answer is. Well, no, there are people above you who can change this. We can go to the attorney general. We can go to the state. He can change the regulation at any time.
So how much
to
time
revote
is
on
left on this video that we want to see?
Oh my God, there's 30 minutes left.
Well, we're not going to cover all that. Are there any?
No.
Is this?
No.
Did we basically just get the gist of what's going on here?
Well, we
Some
can
areas
fast
it gets a
forward.
little worse. I didn't clock the time on it,
Yeah,
but
let's just fast forward
I end
through
up
it.
showing up there to the meeting because I was sitting at home,
Right.
and I ended up going down.
And what was the end result? What was the?
And that's where it came up. He said it was his decision or their decision to make this happen. I'm kind of paraphrasing on it, and that's what it's going to be. And I'm like, no, you can go to the state. Just because you're the local board of health doesn't mean you are the dictator of the whole town.
Well, Bill's been in that office way too long. Number one, so he's evidently too comfortable. You ask me.
Well, they're under the radar.
All right, are you here at this point, Kurt? We'll get to that part, and then
I didn't hear what it said.
12 minutes left.
Yeah, we'll let, and Vasily's going to join.
I think that was before that.
You don't know what the rules are.
It was before this.
You know.
Before this, Kurt.
I think just before that. So here's another thing. Did you know you can have the state come in and check your chickens for free, and they give them a nice little bracelet saying that they're healthy?
Evidently,
No,
Bill
I
didn't know that because we don't have enough people.
Place effective April 1st, 2023. So I can get a second on that.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Should I go back further, or should we let this play?
I'm trying to remember exactly where it's. I mean, you get the gist of it.
Yeah, I think we get the gist of it. Yeah. Jeannie she was quick on that one.
And they voted 3-0 on this.
Yeah, of course.
All three voted yes. This new regulation is going to go in place. And they said we held. Oh, that's the other thing. The public hearing. They said that they had the public hearing, and I believe we're too late now. That it was not 2 weeks of notification for it.
Meaning
They don't
what?
have to, well, you have to give them 2 weeks notice for a public hearing.
Yep.
That's
I think it was just under 2 weeks.
So how do you
But
handle
they made
that?
it through.
But it made it
It's
through.
late now. Won't be able to do anything about it. We caught
I
it
mean,
earlier.
you could probably try to appeal, but I don't think anything will come of it. It's like anything else, nothing happens.
No, but what we need to do now is get people together, and if anything, we need to fight that 10-foot setback. It doesn't make sense where other communities are doing the 5-foot, 5 and 2, 5 and 3 setbacks from side and rear.
Let's bring on the guy that is being affected by this currently, Vasily Malios.
Vasily!
What's up,
Hey,
buddy?
what's up? What's up, guys? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Is
So
this the most
never in a
cameras you've had
million
on
years.
so far?
Yeah.
Hey, never in a million years would I think I'd have to be so concerned about having 4 little chickens on my property. Okay, that's all. That's all. I cannot believe how much time I have put into this in the last year. Over 4 chickens, and listen, I tried to follow rules. I mean, I don't know where you guys were at with this, but long story short, I went to the town, grabbed a permit. In the first couple of days, there were a few people that had called the town, said that it wasn't following the ordinance of the distance from the lot, and then someone else said that it's not aesthetically pleasing. So I said, okay, listen, it's my property. Maybe I should move it to the other side. But then I thought about it a little bit more, and I said, this has nothing to do with health. Why am I, getting this? And then unfortunately, Bill Schmidt had stopped by the house because he was a a friend of the family, and he saw it and he thought it was excellent, the Urban Farmer. And then I get a message saying, hey, you can't have your chickens there. They got to get moved to the other side of the yard, and they got to be 20 feet away or 10 feet away. And I said, wait a minute here. Like, what?
Well, so let me stop you right there, Vasily. So he came to your house. Bill Schmidt came to your house and said, hey, this is great. Not on an official visit, right?
Correct.
On a drop-in, right? Say a drop-in or, you know, an invite. He says, oh, this is great. Look at this, right? I loved it. And then you're like, good. All right, good. I got this. We're good. I got 4 chickens. Everything's cool. Then he comes back with an email saying, nah, sorry, wrong. You got to change this.
Have them. You can't have them in the front yard. So,
all right, you said something earlier. I'm sorry. I hate to interrupt. I don't usually do that.
It's all good, Scott. So
I only interrupt Todd, but
good at it too.
It's all good. So
who said it wasn't aesthetically pleasing?
I don't know. I actually told the town, I said, listen, if anybody has a problem, I don't have a problem speaking to them and just getting their input. Like, you know, what's the problem, what's not. And where the coop is in my garden that my grandfather had built for many, many years. So, you know, it has been lush with tomatoes and cucumbers and, you know, nothing crazy, right? It's not something that's 10 feet tall, bright red. I even painted it that go away green color that Disney World uses to hide props because I you know, I didn't want to be that person that stuck out and had complaints. I wanted to make sure that, you know, I'm not ruffling any feathers. And then all of a sudden it was like, nope, you got to move them. And so my biggest gripe about the draft, the distance part didn't really bother me that much because I believe it went to 10 feet. But then doing more research, people were under 5. So, you know, you start looking more into this and you're like, okay, a lot of these ordinances are regulations that they're creating for keeping of animals are very random. And it's really based off of what they feel. And doing the research, you know, the 2 articles that Bill had sent to the town council that I had gone back to him about had mentioned number of chickens, compost, manure, how to deal with sick birds, mainly about that. There was no mention of distance or location. You know, mainly you look at that piece when you have an abundance, right? You're a producer of eggs, right? You're selling them daily. So anyways, my biggest thing was the location piece. In the previous regulations, there was no location. It didn't say front yard, side yard, backyard. And then all of a sudden it was, nope, you can't have them in the front yard, but you can have them on the side or the back. And I live on a corner lot that is on Pleasant and Somerset. And so I was like, well, if you're telling me to move them to the side, well, that's on the main road as well. That's on Somerset going down. I would ask them in the meeting, hey, what is the difference if I'm 10 feet from Pleasant Street versus 10 feet from Somerset? And I could not get an answer. And I kept asking and asking.
Well, didn't he come back to you with, well, we can also make it a rule that doesn't happen? I believe he said that during the meeting.
I think I heard that when I was watching the meeting too.
We can just make a rule.
He could have said, well, it can't be in the side yard either, but we're meeting halfway with this. But it made no sense to me because I'm still on a corner lot and I'm still on a street. So if it's on the main road of Pleasant versus Somerset, what is the difference? And they had brought up that previous to that meeting, the voting meeting, that it was it could be an aesthetic. You know, we're putting the location in because of aesthetics. This is what Revere did, and then there was one other, and I can't remember. I don't have my notes in front of me, but nothing really that could justify it. Give me some data or resources that say front yard's not allowed because of X, Y, and Z.
Why does Winthrop love? They love going to other towns and cherry picking what other towns do. Instead of being their own world and making their own decisions, they always go outside Winthrop to find something that suits them, like the flag issue. Now it's the chicken issue. They go outside and find something and say, well, Revere does it this way, or, Wellington does it that way, or wherever. Wilmington does it that way. They can't make their own mind up.
Yeah, a lot of times you do that.
But it doesn't, they don't have to do that. They do that because they're looking for something.
It's like your starting point, though. You say, hey, what are the surrounding communities doing? And then you look at it and you go, okay, well,
but they adopt it
for us.
Yeah.
But in the end, it's what your community is.
To that point, though, what if there's two different communities and they go and they look at Revere and they look at Chelsea, and Revere and Chelsea have two totally different systems, but they like the one that Revere uses because it fits what they want to do? Then why even, you're cherry picking. No matter how you look at it, they're cherry picking something that they want, that they feel.
But Scott, you're right. That happens sometimes, but what doesn't happen that should, like the best people, when you, like Kurt is making a good point. You should have a starting point. You should also look at multiple places, and then you should look at how those places compare to Winthrop. I'll give you a good example from my school committee days. I would get hit. Hey, see you, Rob. Thank you.
All right, Rob. Thanks for your input.
Take it easy, Rob.
I would get punched in the face because I'd argue against, teacher contracts because I wanted to start new programs and the like. But the bottom line is all we would do is get hit with look, this is what they pay the people in Swampscott, and this is what they pay. Well, hold on. Read Swampscott's contract, or read Everett's contract. You're going to see a much meatier contract there too. You're going to have a lot more responsibility. So my point being, you have to look at the whole picture, and nobody in public service really does that. They really don't, especially if it's you're basically a volunteer on these committees. So I kind of get why that happens.
So just to bring up what they were saying again, is they're putting out more the fear of sickness with chickens. And
Jeannie was,
it's not there. It is not there. Maybe if you are a farmer and you have thousands and thousands of chickens, and there was some avian flu got mixed in there. When you have backyard chickens, they're contained for the most part. The odds of them, if you get them tested, like I told you can get it done for free. They come put a pretty little bracelet on your chicken. They're tested and they tell you, your chickens aren't sick, or they are sick. And then you make a decision what you got to do. The odds of your chickens getting avian flu, like this weird,
and there's only 4 of them
that just happened.
There's only 4 of them.
Is next to none. You are more likely to go down, like Silly said at the meeting, going down to the park where these geese are dropping crap all over the fields, and the kids are playing in it. Those are the sides of dog poops.
Yeah, they're walking through it, they're falling in it, and no one's getting sick that we know.
So here's another thing. The Board of Health has nothing to do with those people who let their dogs crap and leave it there either. You said that. But there's nothing that's not ours.
Right.
You're the Board of Health.
Well, they can't control nature, but they can control people, according to Bill.
Well, they can control what's on my property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's frightening. That is very
we also have the right to fight it.
Absolutely. So, Vasily, you only have 4 chickens.
I have 4 right now. Yes.
Okay. I brought it up earlier. I was hoping you didn't have more, and they were going to say that you have to cut it down to 6.
Well, so it's a great question, because that never got brought up. And who's responsible if I had 12? Now, what am I supposed to do with that? Right?
He did say no.
There's a lot to this. There's a lot to this that I feel can be avoided. And I've gone back and forth about, like, do I stay quiet or do I continue to push the matter?
Push.
And I am gonna push, because I need facts. Give me facts. I don't want to go off of feel, right? We go off of feel and we see a lot of things that just don't end up right. So give me the facts. And I've made it clear, if my neighbors complain, if they complain in writing, or if they complain to me, I'll make an adjustment. I have no problem. I don't want to be that problem starter with my neighbors. My neighbors are very good people. And so, and I want to be a good neighbor. I give out my stuff. I give out my vegetables in the summer and the spring, and I take care of those people. I use it as an outdoor classroom. You know, they brought this an attractive nuisance onto this whole thing as well. And I'm saying to myself, an attractive nuisance. I'm pretty sure that has to do with pools, construction equipment, dumpsters. And so they're telling me that my coop can cause harm to children. My chickens can cause harm to children if they were to jump over the fence.
Jeannie Hogerson was one that said all that, right? She was the one that was talking all that from that angle, right?
Yeah, but that
she was
never,
just digging. I mean, she doesn't like it. I'm telling you, she doesn't like any
here's
of
the
it.
thing, and I will tell you, I observed a lot during these meetings because they weren't. I believe the first few weren't filmed. They were in the little town hall.
Yep.
But when I started bringing up facts to them, they were on their phones googling all.
They don't come prepared.
Diseases, all the diseases that birds could give off. Well, guess what? What if I have bird feeders and bird houses in my front yard? Is that a problem?
Dude, every morning I live in South Florida. I live in South Florida, right? Every morning in my backyard, and Todd's seen my backyard. I'm sure Kurt's seen pictures of my backyard. Now I have at any given time, there's got to be 15 grackles. There's about 20 mourning doves. There's blue jays. I mean, this is evidently an avian flu center. But this is the Wuhan clinic of avian flu in my backyard.
And salmonella.
By that rationale, by their rationale, my house is so dangerous to the neighborhood. By their rationale,
I'm going.
Jesus.
So you know you're still more likely to get sickness transferred to you from your pet dog.
I'm listen, I've fostered many dogs in the last 2 years.
Dude, you're just an all-around good guy.
Hey, I know exactly what I can cause with dogs alone on my property. They're more bigger of a risk of health than my 4 chickens are.
You got 300 signatures?
Yeah, so when this all occurred, I was like, this is insane. I'm gonna go out. I put a table in front of the house that apparently was an attractive nuisance. It brought attention. But I put a table out front, and I didn't ask people there. I would be getting 20 signatures a day, and then I even left a notebook that said, "Hey, leave like your thoughts." Right? Like, what do you think? If people start saying, I hate this is ugly, then I would make an adjustment, right? Because it's about the community. It's not about the 3 people on the Board of Health and how they feel. Okay? They're volunteers. They are not voted in by the community.
Exactly.
Okay?
Exactly.
And what scares me a little bit about this whole thing in the last 8 months is how much power that these 3 individuals have. Yep. And they don't even need to get approval by the town council to put in regulations. It's a little scary how much power.
This came up during the pandemic, how much power they had. It was frightening what they could do because they got special powers during the pandemic too. So, and by the way, go ahead. I don't want to say it.
I think I know where you might be going, but it's a little scary that they can just say on one given night and here's the other thing. I was the one person opposing them until Kurt came in and Lane came in after, but that, they had already made the vote. If I brought those 300 people in there, I want to know how that vote would have gone, right? The opposition was 1 to their 3. So I was outnumbered at that point.
And it sounded to me like Bill kind of gaslit the 300 signatures. You can get all your little signatures you want.
He absolutely did. He had his mind made up the first day because he said it. He said it in the meeting. He said, I'm the one that drafted the new regulations, and I already know where my vote's going.
So if we got 300 signatures to remove Bill Schmidt from his position, how do you think he'd feel then? Right?
I don't know, to be honest.
If you presented if you presented 300 signatures to Letary and said, these are constituents, these are voters. He's not an elected official. He's an appointed official. You're an elected official, right? These 300 voters right here want that guy out. What are you going to do, Jim? There's always that. I mean, this guy, he's been a disaster for as long as I've been on the show, and this is 2 years. I didn't know about him before this, but I don't know. I think there's something there. I think this guy there has to be a shakeup there.
Well, I don't. Sorry, Vasily. I don't think he's necessarily malicious in what he does. I really
he's
think
not good at what he does. Not malicious. He's not good at what he does.
Right, but he comes across his demeanor. He doesn't listen well. He's arrogant. He's always right. There's never any compromise.
So wait. So what's not malicious about being arrogant, confrontational?
I think he thinks he's thinking in the best interest of the people. I believe in his heart he thinks he's doing right, and he's just maybe somewhat delusional. I don't know.
Somewhat.
Because maybe he doesn't think he's being arrogant, right? Some people don't realize they're arrogant. He talks.
I think you need 3 strong voices on that committee, and I think there's one.
Yeah.
And I think, and this is just based off of my experience. So I'm just basing it off of the whole chicken situation. I think the lead was taken from him, and they followed through because I provided some pretty good arguments against what they had to say. Yeah. And Miss Dalton even said, no, I have cameras out there. I watch to see who goes by my house. And if anybody comes over my fence, I know who it is. But I saw her walk by my house. And I had confronted her in the meeting, and she didn't even notice them there. And Miss Holgerson, I had asked her, I said, have you even been by the property? And she said, no. So how can you make judgments when you don't even know what is in front? I made it clear to them. I said, do I have to put up a 6-foot fence? Because if I put up a 6-foot fence, you guys wouldn't have any idea if it was there.
The problem
is that you can see it. You can see it. And you know what? I want people to see it. I'm a school teacher. I want to educate people. I love to talk to people. Parents come by all the time, and they're like, all right, this is awesome. Like, how my kids love this. They love walking by and seeing the chickens. Can you tell us a little bit about them? Someone from town reached out to me the other day and was like, hey, can you do something with the kids that come to our program? And I was like, absolutely. This is what I want to do. I want to educate.
Wow. Good for you.
Well, man. You know, I started a web page, and I made a mistake and made it private right off the get-go called Winthrop Loves Chickens.
Winthrop Loves Chickens.
I'm on
you gotta
it.
see the picture, Scott.
That's good.
I can't get it public now because Facebook's new rules.
What's the new rule now?
Start a whole new one. Facebook doesn't allow you. Once you're a private group, you can't go public.
Oh, so, I mean, how many people are on there? How many people are actually on there?
There's not a lot of us.
Start a new one. Make it public, dude. We'll blow it up.
Yeah, we'll
put Vasily. Vasily's face will be he'll be the face of the page.
Yeah, he's the face of the chicken coop.
Listen, I just thought I thought I was doing good for myself and the
you are.
I'm just like I really do. I have one person fighting me on this, and that's the truth. It is one individual, and not even a butter. It's one individual, and I did call that individual out in an email the other day. Like, I'm sorry, it's you.
Yeah,
it is you, and
true.
It's Bill. It's Bill.
Was I on that scene?
Yeah, he had his mind made the first day he saw my chicken coop, because guess what? I may have not followed the regulations, okay? Because guess what? They were from 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Or 20 years ago.
They're what so you outdated. Had at the time. It's what you did at the time. So you did do the right thing. It's just what they were at the time you did it. He doesn't like it. He wants to change it. You don't get grandfathered in, which is a mistake. If he just said, okay, you're grandfathered in, everything's cool, you know, Scott, now we'll pick it up from there.
If I was just told, hey, we will give you a variance, and I was given a temporary variance until the new regulations went in. If they just gave me a variance and said, hey, we want to make sure you continue to follow with your permit. If inspectional services comes by, checks the health of your property, and I'm going to say here, check. I probably have the most structured system here. All of my food, my food is all in aluminum cans. I have out because unfortunately with the building down the street at Somerset, we did get some mice that came up, all taken care of. took care of all that. I put up 3 fences. I have my regular 4-foot chain link fence. I have a cattle fence that goes around as well. So, you know, I kind of made sure that I couldn't put myself into an issue, right? I just wanted to make sure I took care of business the way it needed to be, clean, and made sure that I didn't have conflicts with my neighbors.
Yeah, make sure you never, ever, ever go to a petting zoo again with your kids, because you know you might get
swine
sick.
flu. Yeah, you're gonna get swine flu.
The thing for me with this whole thing is, and I'm going to be dead honest here, I don't think Bill is a horrible person. I really don't.
I'm not saying that he's just bad at what he does.
I hate his demeanor. I hate the way sometimes he talks down to you, like you don't know anything. And then I hate the fact that he's making it like a dictatorship, that what he says is final. And it's
so he has an ego, and he has a superiority complex, and he's argumentative. That's not good if you're leading if you're the chairman of the Board of Health. It's not a good combination. He's bad at what he does.
So I'm fighting for
that's my opinion.
I'm fighting for the chickens here in town. I haven't gotten mine yet. Was going to apply for it, and then we kind of got shut down, saying that we needed the plot plan instead of a drawn diagram. Because you know how much a plot plan costs to get done?
$100
expensive.
Oh, wait, you got to hire someone. No, you got to hire someone professional, like $500, isn't it, or $1,000 or something?
Somewhere around there, like $350 to $500 for a true plot plan
to get chickens.
I mean,
hey, do you have a fence around you? You have a fence around your
backyard? Is 5 feet, 65 feet. My backyard is.
Do you have a 6-foot fence?
No, I got a standard, like the 4-foot high chain link.
Get one, and then just
when you put a chicken coop in,
no one's gonna
you surround it in.
No one's gonna complain.
So Vasily, where are we at right now? So you got your temporary stay of.
So I got a temp variance until April 1st.
And then
I think it's time to get the news channels to come in.
Chicken soup for everybody.
Yeah, you know. Well, unfortunately, I can't do anything to my chickens because in the new laws, you can't
can't kill them. Oh,
no. So I'm gonna test the waters.
All right.
I'll say that. I'm gonna test the waters. I'm gonna continue. I'm not done with this. I've looked at a bunch of different towns' regulations. They are all arbitrary. They really are. They're made up based off of feeling what they feel is best, but they need to take input. I had 300 people that said you're wrong.
Yep.
Okay, and
not you're wrong. They are wrong.
Correct. They're wrong on changing this regulation. Okay, so and I didn't even go to my family, and I could have gotten another 50 signatures there. Okay.
Vasily, have you seen?
You know one of them big Italian families?
Greek.
Greek. I mean Greek.
Sicilian relatives around.
Malios. That's right. Malios.
Malios. There's more.
That's more.
Oh, Zikos. I can get everybody.
Zikos. Yep.
I know. Kurt, what were you saying?
Did you see Bill Schmidt's email to the town president?
No.
Oh,
I saw council president.
And
the one that he said, "I'm sending you this email to clarify information," and he listed out everything they had gone with the public hearing and all this. I don't know if you know, he didn't meet the 2-week notice to have a public hearing.
So I'm glad you mentioned that, because when I had heard that there was going to be a public hearing, and I didn't know what the date was, and then I got a message, an email saying FYI public hearing. So I was like, well, this is like 2 days notice, 3 days notice. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure you need at least a week or two. I mean, this is all still new to me as far as like, when do you post, right? And then I tried to look at the timestamp because of the town website, right? And I believe it was like the Friday before.
So
but I wasn't able
to. It was not the 2 weeks. He didn't make it to the 2 weeks. But even that, if we caught it in time, we could have got him on that. But to have another one, but it's just the way his email came out with. We looked at this document, you know, CDC, NIH, all that. Where is anybody who is actually a veterinarian, a specialist in the chicken field, none.
So I had my
it's fear mongering for sicknesses.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had my veterinarian. I asked, and she signed my petition. And she said there's nothing in regards to health with location of your coop. There's
So
nothing.
could you get your vet to write something up and just email it to the three of them? Say, okay, here's my counterpoint.
No, because they're going to come back. They're going to come back and say, well, here are the 4 diseases that fowl or birds will give off. And that's concerning to the town.
But they don't care about the geese. Let's circle back to the geese down at Lewis Lake and
but
the
they
golf
can't
course.
Contain, they can't contain. They're wild. They can't contain that. So here's my thing. Guess what? I just let my hens free. They're now wild chickens, and they've nested in my tree over here in my yard.
Can't touch them. They're wild. You should
wild.
They're wild. Yeah. So
He's on
you have
stage saying it.
so you have no recourse. You have no appeal on this. You can't appeal it.
No, because it's already been passed through. I'm not really sure, guys. So the politics
Vasily,
piece,
any
regulations, I don't really know. I don't know the
regulation can be
the laws. But I know that they can make an amendment to that regulation
at any time.
They can remove it completely.
Yeah.
But how does what's the process of getting that done?
Continuing to fight and getting more people against
or
what
changing,
they voted on.
or just changing the board. That's another way to do it.
Which is how?
Yeah, but the only way how is if the town council, that is through the town council president, because it's an appointment. It's an appointee. He's not no one on that committee is voted in.
Nope.
Right. That's why I said if you get 300 signatures of people saying we don't have faith in Bill the Shill Schmidt, what's Jim going to do?
Well, here's the thing. I also think it needs to be a priority. Is this a priority to the town? Are chickens a priority to the town? And I would hope that everybody would say no. Let them be. Let them be. They're not bothering anybody. There's bigger fish to fry in this town right now. If
you're not going to find people who are letting their dogs crap all over the play fields where our kids are playing in, leave the chickens alone.
Well, this is the same guy that was entertaining all this January 6th nonsense with Tracy Honan.
Yeah.
Like, not for nothing, but it's Board of Health. Like,
it's Board of Health. He was trying to get all the committee chairmen to sign a letter.
I don't understand.
So what I think needs to go forward here is that to some people, this might be like what's the big deal? Well, it is a big deal.
It's a matter of principle at this
in town that have chickens.
It's a matter of principle, too.
Fact that we have a chair of the Board of Health who thinks that his word is final and it cannot be changed. You know what? When you change the back inside to 10 feet, where all the other surrounding towns, all the documents which he refuses to even mention are the 5 and 3, 5 and 2 for the dimensions of the side and rear. He never brings that up, that we went to 10.
Because it's not convenient.
No, because then he'll have to go and change it because there's going to be more pushback, I think.
Right.
I think it's just random. What's the difference between 5 and 10 feet? It's still on my property.
That's right.
Okay. It's on my property. If it's
noise,
if it's a noise issue, if it's a smell issue, that is health. Okay. Yeah. There you go. There are the complaints. But 5, 10 feet, what is the
for 4 chickens? For 4 chickens.
So, you know how all across our Winthrop town little Facebook groups that are there, and you always hear complaints about, this person left their dog crap in my trash, and this person left their dog crap right in front of my house, and this and that. There are chickens in this town that aren't permitted. Never a peep about it. Never.
Nothing.
Nothing.
No.
Defense.
The only reason this became a thing.
I should have said nothing.
Yeah. Well, the only reason it became a thing is because Bill Schmidt did a drop-in on the Sealy, saw his chickens, or an invite. He saw that. He saw it. That's what he's like.
Came in for an Oscar Mayer wiener.
And that seems to me that was the catalyst to this whole thing.
It was.
He saw something that I'm the chairman of the Board of Health. I don't know about this. That
And just to let you know, I had no
Stinks.
idea that he was the chairman of the board of health at that point.
stinks.
I had zero clue because I try to avoid. I try to step back. I don't want to. I don't want to put myself into. I
You're in
like
it
to
now,
stay on
buddy.
my. Hey, I like to stay in my circle, right? That was
Now
all I
you know
wanted.
why it's important to at least pay attention. Now
Yeah.
you know why.
No,
Yep.
seriously,
Could have
Todd,
prevented the appointment of this guy.
Todd, you're 100% right.
Yeah.
Seriously, I feel like in town we don't get involved enough unless it affects us.
That's why this show came
Yep.
about. That's why we started
Right.
doing this 2 years ago.
You know, I think that like this has been a major eye opener to me because then I start to ask others like, hey, have you experienced this with this person? And then I hear these stories and I'm like, well, what did you do about it? Oh, we did nothing because, you know, we didn't have, you know, we didn't know what we could do. Right. This has been eye opening to me big time.
Yeah.
And I'm going to fight it.
There has to be recourse. This is a democracy. He can't just say my word is final and that's it. That
Vasily,
can't
you
be the
can-
way. Then that's not a democracy.
Not at all.
And he can say,
Vasily,
well,
Vasily.
it's my, I was appointed to make these decisions. Just like the town council said, well, we don't want term limits, or we don't want to put that on this or that on the ballot because we were elected to make these decisions. Well, that's a fine line. That's a fine line.
Vasily, you
I would
are
have loved to have
always
voted
welcome
on those.
to come here. Right? You would have, right? You would have liked to have
I-
voted on your
I-
charter changes.
I would have, to be honest with you.
Yes.
I think that the town government needs to see some changes. I mean, we've been sitting. I don't know how long we've been sitting with the town council, but
15,
I mean,
I think. 15 years.
15 years. If we haven't been moving forward, then we need to make adjustments. Correct? I mean,
Yeah.
that's in life. That's in work.
Yep.
We can't continue to sit on this level plane.
Stagnant.
Right? We need
They're
to
just
grow.
stagnant. They're stagnant.
You
And
know,
they
I think,
circle
you know,
around the same issues all the time. They circle
will make
around
it
the same
to-
issues.
and
Bill
it's-
did make it to
Todd,
a
it's-
couple of the council meetings for the.
It's great you said that. We circled because I had asked years ago what's going on with the middle school, and I was told, well, we're continuing to hold on to this because we have so much retention with the positions in power. And I'm like, well, let's go.
Yeah.
We're sitting on this. I don't know what the expenses are each year.
$100,000 a year.
Okay. Well, there you go. I mean, like we're sitting on $100,000. Jeff Turco many years ago had a great idea with the hotel, and then look what happened in East Boston. They started putting up those hotels. I mean, we need to start pushing forward. We can't continue to sit back and relax. You know, the money. It's always a fight every year, Todd. You know this. When you were on the school committee, the unions with the police, the fire, we're all battling against each other to say who gets the increase in raise this year. Why did they get 7%, but we got 5%? It's not right. We shouldn't have to be battling against our own departments either. So we need to start figuring more things out. We need to bring more revenue into town. And we need more ambitious people that want to push us past where we're at.
We need
You
to
ever,
bring
you ever
more
think of
revenue
running for
vis-a-vis-
office?
Not yet.
Okay. That's a good
See,
answer.
hey,
No, that's a good answer.
Are you
I think we got two candidates, potential candidates right there.
Vasily,
God,
you need Vasily,
time.
you need
Okay.
to think about this. You need to, because you'd be good at this, and you got the right. You understand the
Right
right
attitude.
idea. We want
Right
want
attitude.
people to come into Winthrop, spend their money, and then leave, because we're not going to develop our way out of this. We keep building houses, we're going to add more expense. That's just
We
a
can't.
fact.
Our schools are almost at capacity
Already-
if they're not
yeah.
already there. So we can't. We built for so much, right? We can't continue to go up. You know, 1 bedrooms are great. I don't have no problem with 1 bedrooms because you know where you'll have a kid and then you're gonna move out, right? You go to a house. I don't know.
Todd
Yeah.
doesn't like those
All I'm
micro
telling you- no,
condos.
no.
Todd doesn't like
All
them.
I'm telling you is, you know what they invite those micro condos? The weenies with the helmets and the scooters and the bike lanes and the and they've changed. Well, they've changed. They're on our town council. Everyone who's voting against putting the issues on the ballot, that's who's attracted to those micro condos. That type of thinker who thinks they know better. You know, they should decide those things. That's who it is.
You know what I wish I saw more from the town council was I would love for them to put their foot down. Like enough is enough. We're gonna do this, and guess what? If I tick off 50% of the town, it is what it is. That's why we got into this. We need to start putting our foot down and moving forward. We can't keep, like you said, talking in circles. In circles. We're going to be at square one again and again.
Unfortunately, the town council has their little caucus with their agendas, and they work in conjunction with each other, and they're not geared to go in that direction.
Yeah,
they look in other directions that aren't really needed.
Priorities.
There's not a priority. They look in other directions. So
I would love to see the council. Right? I would love to see the council shortened, make it smaller.
Yeah.
I don't think we need precincts. I've been saying this even before the ordinance review committee brought this up. I had been saying this many years ago that I personally feel the town council is just too large. There's too many voices. Yep. There's not enough competition amongst the officials.
Candidates. Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
Kurt, does this sound familiar?
Yep.
We can't keep saying, hey, we want to have the same people in if we're not going forward. I mean, come on.
You got these people that ran
for the change.
That ran unopposed because it's broken down the precincts. You know, they run unopposed, and that's the recipe for disaster. No one
and they're begging people. They're begging people to fill that position. And guess what? If they're not fully committed for that position, then they shouldn't be sitting in that seat. Leave that seat vacant. Because I don't want to have to buy, you're persuading someone who's not interested, and they're going to go whatever way, the pendulum falls, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Make it smaller. Now you hold more people responsible as well.
The councilors have to get out and do more work because there's less of them. And if there was no precincts and they're all at large, then they can go anywhere they want. They can talk to anybody they want. They don't have to say, I'm in my precinct, I'm in my corner.
So the only thing with that, I just feel like if you're going to continue to ask the same person over and over again, you might see a little just someone being overwhelmed more than another person, right? Because of personalities.
Right.
So I don't know if you get rid of the precincts. I'm not really sure what the best answer is. I just think there's too many people that sit on that council. So
we got
two more years, and they can do another ordinance review again. So
it's just get our people in place now.
But we need the people in place now to push it through in 2 years. That's the key.
Because we have too many blocks.
That's the key.
I plan on running for a seat, as you guys know.
We don't know which
and we have a maybe. We have a maybe from Vasily.
Mine won't be anytime soon.
Never say never, my friend. Never say never.
The timing for me is just not. It's not proper.
He's busy.
This might push you over there. This whole chicken thing might push you into another direction.
I hope
buddy.
not. Like I said, I just wanted to be in my own bubble. Just leave me alone.
Winter fried chicken.
There you go. All right. Hey, listen, Vasily, thank you very much, my friend. Thank you for coming on. You're a great guest. Listen, you have carte blanche. You have carte blanche to come on anytime you want. Now you are in Kurt Millar territory, buddy. You get to come on anytime you want. You have something you want to say. You have an issue. You want to bring something up. Give Todd a push, and you can come on anytime you want.
I appreciate it. Thank
you
guys.
We got you back on this. We got you back on this. We have a pretty good track record at pushing things, moving the needle a little bit.
Hey, listen, we need people like that. This does help. It does.
Yeah, and a lot of people will watch this, and a lot of people are going to say,
this is going to get a lot of watches.
They're going to be like, why are they giving this guy a problem about chickens?
Vasily, share it too when you go on your Facebook. Share this out.
Oh, I will. Don't worry. I think I'm hitting social media next with this.
Chickens' lives matter. Right. Oh, all right, Todd.
Don't ever do that again.
Exactly. See, we had a good moment there. We had a good moment, and you went with that.
That was on purpose.
I know.
Bringing you down.
All right, Vasily. Thank you very much, my friend.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
All right.
Wow,
dude, that was a good guess right there. Good. That dude was solid, man. Vasily was solid.
He is.
He's a force. I think they got their hands full. He's not a guy that seems to back down.
Nope.
And
No,
you know,
and I'm gonna keep digging into this chicken
exactly.
thing too.
Yeah.
So
We got the Kurt's
it's
like
low on
he's
Bill's
like
totem pole.
Kurt's
Well, what
like
do you-
Winston Wolfe on Pulp Fiction. We just call him and say, "Hey, we need some information. We need to get this done." Kurt just gets it done.
Are you do you have a plan? Like, I know you want to get your chicken coop, so do you have a plan?
I'm going to be reaching out to other people outside of our town who are
Okay.
more involved
There you go.
in urban farming. I don't want to
Yeah. We in other
overreach
words,
and say
got a
who it is
plan.
until
No, don't say
I have
anything.
somewhat of a plan. It's just, I mean, there's even thoughts of calling certain TV stations, you know, like
Okay.
that Help Me Hank thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
They want me to slaughter my chickens. What do you think?
Yeah.
So
Right.
That would be awesome. We could give them the tape from the video Board of Health video. They'd edit it up and it would be funny.
Now, I just want to say before we end, I like Jeannie Hoaxon. I have no beef with her. I don't agree with her. You know, I of course you play it up a little bit for the show, but I have no beef with her. I don't want anyone to think like I don't like her. I think she's a bad person. I don't agree with her reasoning. She is. That's why. Remember, I was the one that branded her Wonder Woman. So
Wonder
you
Woman.
know, I'm a fan. I just don't agree with what she was saying on that.
Oh,
I just
hey, listen, she's a human being. She can make
exactly.
She can make. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Maybe she'll come to her senses on this one, because I do think if she really steps back and thinks about it, it's like you can present what the potential issues could be from birds, but you got to have some actual cases to make the claim that this is a public health.
I think her points weren't valid. They were not valid points.
They lacked
I think they were digging. I think she was digging for things and just throwing it out there and not thinking anything was going to come of this. Well, now we have our new 5 Fremont. We have our new Shore Drive. Now it's chickens.
Now it's Pleasant Street. The Pleasant Street
advocating for chickens in Winthrop. Yeah.
Let's talk about Pleasant Street chicken coop.
Don't
Don't
look past the little comment that Vasily said about one of them said aesthetics. Don't look past that.
Yep.
That's what I mean when I said somebody's snobbish. Somebody's like, we don't need chickens.
Nuisance.
Attractive. Is that Todd? What do you call that? Word salad? Is that what you call word salad or no?
Oh, yeah, that is a word. I mean, it is an actual. It is like it's written in some of the ordinances because
but
a pool is considered an attractive. But it's foolishness. It's a pool without a fence is an attractive nuisance. Okay, fine, it is. That's true. But if your kid who can't swim is running into your neighbor's yard without supervision, you got a little bit of a problem yourself as a parent. Just saying.
Yeah.
If you know there's a pool next door to your house where someone didn't put a fence up, or maybe the fence came down, right? Because that can happen. The wind blow, you have a storm or whatever, and your kid runs over there and falls in the pool. I'm not blaming the pool owner. I'm sorry.
Right.
Anyway, I don't know why I went that way, but there you have it.
That's all right. Well, look, I knew this was going to be a long show. I knew it.
Anywho.
And we had 5 people on at once. That's a new record for us. This has been a really weird show tonight.
So Kurt, if you want to come on here, just like we've said before, you know, as you move this plan forward, and you need some volume. Not that we have that much, but there's some volume here.
Yep. Yeah, we move the needle a little bit, but and also, were we supposed to talk about anything else with you, Kurt? Maybe was there any other
I do have a
issues?
quick update for you, something interesting.
Okay.
Sure.
The meters are going in for the rink.
There you go.
All right.
Finally.
So, yeah, I'm just gonna wait and see and FOIA the next water bills.
Yeah. Todd, do we have any FOIAs in the works?
Paying for them yet?
No, I've gotten them all back. There's nothing in the. I pulled some FOIAs from. I was trying to get my hands on lesson plans, but apparently doesn't fall subject to the Freedom of Information Act. So I couldn't get the lesson plans I was looking for. There are no other FOIAs in the works. But we do have something coming. I think we do have something, a feel good humanitarian story coming. I don't know exact date, but we'll be talking to former Winter Viking great track star and football star Steven Staffier.
Okay. All right, we're getting him in the near future.
Oh, track. You're talking about track. Did you hear the sad news?
No. Oh yes, Pat
Pat
McGee passed
Pat
away.
McGee passed.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, our condolences. Good catch. Good catch.
Yeah.
Actually, there were a bunch. Okay,
There was
I
a
know
bunch, yeah.
Joe Buccini's mom passed. Our condolences to that family.
Kid I grew up with, Bob Mahar, he passed away.
Yep.
Condolences
Mahar.
to them.
Yep. Again, not congrats, Jesus. Condolences to those
Condolences.
families. Thoughts and prayers are with those. Sad. It was a very sad day today.
Yeah.
We went through.
Week. Yeah, it was a bad week, right? Wasn't
Week.
it?
Was it all week?
I think it was within a certain amount of days, yeah.
It's a sad day for me today because I got all the news today because I'm only on Facebook like every third day now.
Wow, good for you.
Yeah, I need a
Good.
break. It's killing my brain.
I came across something today that I want to touch on. We can kick off the show next week with it. But remember that book that you asked to be put into play in the elementary school?
My body,
Todd?
my choice. My body, my choice.
So there's another one that I think should be presented. It's called No More Secrets, The Candy Cavern, right? It's from the lady that created Libs of TikTok. Right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So she wrote this book, and it's basically called No More Secrets, The Candy Cavern. And this is the context of the book is Rose the Lamb was so excited to begin second grade, but when her new teacher focused more on candy than teaching, Rose knew there was something wrong. Now I'm going to go into the rest next week, but this book needs to be put right there next to Jack, Not Jackie. We're not going to give up on that. They need to put a counter book in there.
Or
Didn't you do a FOIA? Didn't you do a FOIA for that, Todd?
What I did was I spoke to a school committee member who been having. He says I keep forgetting, so I got to just keep reminding him.
Yeah. Well, I think this is a book that counterbalance to Jack, Not Jackie. They can't just do one side, and not do the other. That's true. And there's still activist teachers in the Winthrop Middle School, and the principal doesn't care. I'll end the show every week like that.
Anyway, okay, good night. Nighty night.
All right, Todd, you want to take us out?
Yeah, let's go out. Where do you want to go? Oh, sorry.
All right. Don't make me.
Kurt, first of all, I want to Kurt, first of all, thank you. Great job. Great analysis on the Bill Schmidt Board of Health meeting. Good luck with your plan going forward. I certainly want to see you get your chicken coop. I'm glad Vasily joined tonight. Everyone who watches this, he said it too. You guys all got to start paying attention as best you can. I know it's hard, but local politics is everything. It's why certain factions of people are getting on these boards locally. It's how they move the needle in their direction. We are in a position now where we have a board of health that I think has made some decisions that are not based in any real science, just the fringes of science, right? Like birds can give off avian flu, they can give off, this disease and that disease, but there's no statistical data saying this is a real health problem. So, like I said, that's right. Like I said, this is very important. Local politics is everything. It's where it stops and starts. For the listeners, thank you for joining again. Thank you for those who will be watching. You guys are awesome, and we really appreciate it.
All right. Like I always say, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you like it, share it. If you didn't like it, well, thanks for watching this long, an hour and 43 minutes. And again, as I always say, you are the engine that drives this machine. Without you, it'd just be me and Todd. Now we got Kurt. Kurt's becoming, I think in this year, I said it, Kurt's going to be on a little more than usual this year. I think we're going to add Kurt to the fray. He always has good input, and that's, thank you, Kurt, on my behalf.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. And yeah, share it, like it, whatever you want to do with it. We will be back next Monday, and thanks for watching.